Today, topic we'll be setting up this Elinchrom D-Lite 4 IT light to be triggered with the Elinchrom Skyport wireless system. A really great little system and easy to use. So let's get started. To start off with, we're just going to start with setting up our Skyport trigger. I'm just going to slide that onto the hot shoe of the camera. Just tighten it all up. And here in the top left hand corner we have our power button, and it's just easier to use it in the all position, because then it doesn't matter what group you've got it set up or what group you've got your light set up on, it should trigger it. If you're using specific setups where you want to dedicate different groups of lights, you can actually do it here. Select a group, select it on the light, and then set it to the group function. But for now, let's just switch that to all. So the trickiest bit on the trigger is to set up our frequency channel that we want to use when shooting. With the D-Lite 4 IT lights, we have a choice of up to 4 channels. If we use any of the other Elinchrom lights, the RX units, we can have up to 8 different frequency channels that we can choose from. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to show you how to set up your first 4 channels using the little switches right here on the top of our trigger. Now to adjust these little switches, just grab something like a pen or a pencil, something small that can get in there. If all 3 switches are in the bottom position, then that's our default channel, or frequency channel, channel 1. To switch it over to channel 2, all we do is just move the left hand switch up. To switch it to channel 3, just move everything down, move the middle switch up, so that's channel 3. To switch over to channel 4, just have the first 2 switches in the on or up position. But for this demonstration, I want to use it on the default frequency channel, which is number 1. So I'm just going to move all the switches down to the off position. So now channel 1 is selected. Let's have a quick look at some of the other buttons on the trigger. Up here we just have a minus and a plus button. With those we can actually adjust the strength of the light, but that will only work with the Elinchrom RX units. And then down here we have our test button, and if everything is set up correctly, if you press the test button, it should trigger your lights. Now let's set up the Elinchrom D-Lite 4 light using the controls on the rear panel. Firstly, let's just look at some of the buttons that we have up here. This green button in the top right hand corner is our test button. Down here we have our ready charge beep button, so we have that on. It will beep when the light is ready to fire again, when it's fully charged. You can have that on and off depending on what you want to do. Up here we have our prop light. We have a couple of modes for it. We can have it on full power the whole time. We can have it on independently and adjust the light strength for it. Or you can have it switch to proportional mode so that it will dim or brighten depending on the power setting that you have. Right here we have our photocell on-off switch. Now the little optical trigger is switched on. Now it's switched off. And here we have our main power dials, with which we can set the power of the flash unit up or down. The Elinchrom D-Lite 4s have a built-in Skyport receiver, and to change the settings we need to access the menu functions of the light, and to get to those all we do is just press down the 2 power buttons simultaneously, and we'll enter a menu where if we press the prop button, we can cycle through different settings. So let's look at a couple of these settings and just quickly discuss them. The first one we get to is R1. Now if we adjust this, we have 3 settings, R0, R1 or R2. Now if it's on R0, then the Skyport system is deactivated. If it's on 1, it's on normal mode, and if it's on 2, it's in high speed mode. Best to use 1, just to switch it on normal. Press the prop button again. In here we can set up the group function of the light, group 1, 2, 3 or 4. So I'm just going to set this to group 1, press prop again, and in here we can choose the channel that we want the light to work on. Now we already set up the trigger to channel 1, so let's step back, channel 1, and now just let the light sit for a second or 2 and it will automatically exit the menu on its own. So let's just quickly summarize what we did. So we want the light to be triggered with the Skyport system. We want it to be in group 1, and we want it to be on the frequency channel 1. So to set that up again, we just press the 2 power buttons down together. Make sure that's R1, press the prop function, go to the group settings, set it to group 1, press it again, frequency 1. To exit, just let the light sit a second or two and it will exit automatically. So we're done, we're ready to shoot. So to test the light, to see that it's actually firing and everything is right, just press the test button on top of the trigger. And if everything is set up correctly, we should be triggering the light.